Welcome everyone, Costin here on Serious Gaming with an update on the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt graphical downgrade controversy. We've gotten a lot more footage, trailers, gameplay footage from YouTubers, outside of YouTubers, PS4 footage, etc, etc. Even actual game footage from the finished build, the gold version of the game, from Arab players playing on consoles, Xbox One, PS4, because retailers there in the United Arab Emirates decided to start selling the game early, so people got their hands on the console versions, which have no protection, and the consoles have integrated Twitch streaming capability, so we got our hands on a good amount of footage there. Footage for this particular video is from the Precious Cargo Quest video CD Projekt did a while ago. Now, on the subject of the visual downgrade, I stand by what I said in my previous video. For all the new footage, I'm not impressed. It doesn't look better. It doesn't look as good as Sword of Destiny VGX, which they said the game would look as good as. It's like people saying, oh, it's CGI or nonsense like that. Nope, CD Projekt said that the game will look as better, even better actually, than those trailers. It doesn't. In point of fact, at this stage, it doesn't even look as good as the 35-minute gameplay demo we saw at E3 in 2014, which is what started this entire downgrade controversy, because people saw that footage, that 35-minute gameplay demo, and realized that it doesn't look as good as we saw in Sword of Destiny, which also came out at E3 that year. Last year, that is. So, obviously, that's a problem. You know, I think at this point people would even be happy with the visual quality of that particular trailer. So there's nothing more to say on that subject. The visuals are downgraded, the game doesn't look as good as they promised, that they said it would, or if not better, right, if not better. And, well, the reality of the situation is that talking more about it is kind of pointless. I've made my point on that subject and I have nothing more to say. But why did they downgrade the graphics? Because that's also crucial and something that people are debating on the internet now. And it's getting, let's just say, more heated by the day as more and more people join the debate, as more and more people see more footage, more and more people getting the game. Preloads have started for the game on GOG, for instance, and preloads had already started for the Xbox One, so on and so forth. So the closer we get to release, the things are getting worse and worse. And once the game actually comes out, oh boy, is that going to be a shitstorm. But why did they downgrade the visuals of the game? That's crucial, I think. Well, based on a preview with GameStar, German preview, and the statements made by YouTubers in terms of the computers they were running the game on, and the visual quality they had, what kind of settings they were running the game on, that kind of stuff. They were playing on PC, by the way, on the max settings. That's what they stated. People saying, oh, they didn't play on max settings. Whatever, I don't care what you want. If you want to spin this, if you want to get into leaps of logic, go ahead. I'm just stating what's been said by these people. And I have no reason to believe that any of them are lying. So they're playing on max settings on PC, Hairworks enabled, Hairworks disabled, seeing the performance. They were playing the game on an i7 CPU, Haswell CPU from Intel, 16 gigs of DDR3, and a GTX 980, a single GTX 980. That's a pretty high-end computer. That's a very expensive computer. Obviously, it's no SLI setup like a GTX 980 SLI setup. It's no Titan X, but it's a very high-end computer. It's similar to a degree to what I have. I don't have 16 gigs, I have 8 gigs, but it's similar to the computer that I personally have right now. To require a game to run the game at 60 FPS and ATP on something more than that is ludicrous in my opinion. And yet The Witcher 3, for the YouTubers, for GameStar, was struggling to run the game at 60 FPS on that computer in Novigrad. And it was struggling with things like Hairworks, so on and so forth. So I think, and this is not from something CD Projekt has stated on the subject, but based on that information, the computers they were running the game at, the settings they were running the game at, and the performance they were getting, I think that the reason they downgraded the graphics, they toned down the visuals, and this was on one of the more recent builds where the graphics are obviously downgraded in terms of their visual fidelity. If they're struggling on that, then I think they toned down the graphics because of optimization concerns, which is okay. I'm fine with that idea, if that's the reason behind the visual downgrade. I don't think it's something like, oh, they had to tone it down for the consoles because of console parity, because they have a contract with Microsoft, Sony, etc, 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 all this bullshit being spewed around. So, or because PC gamers are all pirates, so we shouldn't give a fuck about PC gamers. That's all bullshit, in my opinion. I think it's because of console parity. In point of fact, having seen footage of the PS4, Xbox One, I can state that those versions look considerably worse than even the downgraded PC versions. Like, holy shit, is the difference noticeable, especially in cinematics dialogue, where you notice the textures are lower resolution than on the PC, even with the downgraded visuals. So obviously optimization was a concern for the PC. That's how I personally see it. That's why I believe they toned down the graphics. Now some people say, oh, maybe they should have given it an option. That's not how it works, actually. It's like maybe they should have given us an option so that we could have those amazing visuals as in VGX. That's not how optimization works. They didn't just tone down stuff. They didn't just remove stuff. They toned it down. They changed it. Most importantly, they changed this stuff in the build. They changed objects in the world. They changed the blood. They changed the grass. They changed various things in the entire world. They changed that kind of stuff in order to get better performance. You can't just put this on a toggle. You'd have to make two different builds for that to happen. And for what? So that people with 980s at an SLI or Titan X could try and get the game running at 60 FPS? Really? For on those computers? No. I don't think that's reasonable at all. I don't think that the developer should go that far. I think that the developer should push the graphics, but should also try and get the best performance that they can. And obviously this is the best performance that CD Projekt can get. Now there's issues with the foliage. People are complaining it doesn't even look as good as in The Witcher 2 in terms of foliage, or the very first trailer we saw The Witcher 3 in terms of environment. So obviously that is a concern. But I would be perfectly fine if this is the reason. And if CD Projekt had gone out and stated this, right? If they had come clean and said, yes, we had to tone down the graphics because of performance concerns, it would have been fine. But they didn't. That's the issue. That's my problem with it. It's too late right now to complain about the visual downgrade. That's why I raised hell for months on end, because when the game was still in development. The game's development is over. They're still releasing a day one patch, but the main development of the game is over. So they're not gonna fix this. It's too late to fix this. But addressing CD Projekt's bullshit PR tactics is still a legitimate waste of your time, I guess you could say, at this point. Because CD Projekt should be taken to task for the things they've said on this subject. They've flat out denied that they insulted people who brought it up constantly by saying, oh, people are still talking about the visual downgrade are tools. They said that the game will look better than the Swords of Destiny VGX trailers, so on and so forth. A lot of bullshit being spewed by CD Projekt, and it's obviously false. They lied to people, and I don't think that's fine for a company like CD Projekt, which prides itself for caring about its fans, respecting its fans. Yes, you're showing a great deal of respect for your fans because of the way you handle this particular subject matter, CD Projekt. Yes, I can feel the respect for your condescending bullshit in your PR tactics. The entire PR strategy for CD Projekt when it comes to Witcher 3 has been horrible. The way they handle the PR, the import issues, the visual downgrade issues, and so on and so forth has been horrid. So people should take them to task for that. It's too late to fix the graphics, but oh boy, is there gonna be hell raised for the way they handled this. And it's not just because the graphics look worse. No. Performance is also gonna be horrible. If you're struggling to get the game running at 60 FPS 1080p on a GTX 980, then when the game comes out, I can see the forums already, thread after thread on Steam, on the Witcher boards, on GOG, about shitty performance and shitty graphics. I'm already seeing it starting to take root, but oh boy, is there gonna be hell. And I called it. I said it months in advance, that if CD Projekt ignores this issue, if CD Projekt continues denying that this issue exists and does nothing about it, either to fix the issue on a visual level or to flat out admit that they had to tone down the graphics, then it's gonna go very badly for them. And oh boy, am I correct on this. We're seeing news articles, we're seeing massive amounts of activity in terms of discussing this subject. So things are going to go to hell when the game comes out. Believe me, that's gonna happen. And after just playing something like GTA 5 on PC on max settings, besides a couple of things in terms of the draw distance, do expect it to not go down very well, because as it stands, The Witcher 3 is a good looking game, but it's not a great looking game. It's not an amazing looking game. I would put it on par with Dragon Age Inquisition. In some places better, in other places worse, considerably worse than Dragon Age Inquisition. That's all I had to say on this particular subject. Costin here on Serious Gaming signing out. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.